So today we're gonna film a raw wild venison recipe. So I've got about 2 kilos of hunted wild venison. So first I'm gonna make the bone broth. My cats have kidney disease, so I don't want to use the bones as a source of calcium, but I'm still gonna use them for broth. I'm gonna mix the bones with either filtered water or spring water. Avoid mineral water. And you're gonna add about a tablespoon of vinegar to help leach out the nutrients from the bones. So this is raw, non-pasteurized vinegar. You can use any vinegar that you like. Just add about a tablespoon. And then I'm also gonna use lard because venison is a very lean meat. It's very low in fat and cholesterol, and my cats have kidney disease, so I want to lower their protein content and up their fat content. So I've got here pig fat. This is gonna slow cook for a few hours, and then I'm just gonna collect the broth. Now I'm gonna make the calcium for the recipe. So I've got 3 eggs, and I'm gonna collect the yolk and the shell, but I'm gonna throw away the egg white. If you want to not waste any of the egg white and use it in the recipe, you might want to cook it and keep the yolk raw. Of course, these are organic free-range eggs. So I'm just going to rinse out the shells and dehydrate them to make sure they're really dry, and then I will be able to powder them to mix them with the food. If you don't have a dehydrator, you can definitely use an oven on the lowest temperature just to dry out the eggshells. Otherwise it's not going to blend. So now I'm going to take care of the venison, and I'm just going to keep it raw. It was frozen for about 2 weeks, long enough to kill the bacteria. And now it's actually almost completely thawed, and I'm just going to chop it really thin. Here I have about 1.5 kilos of wild venison. Venison is very close to a cat's natural prey, nutritionally speaking, but when you cook raw recipes, you always want to balance them with organs. So you want to do about 80% of muscle meat and then 5% of liver. So today I have pork liver, and 5% of something else. So hearts are great source of taurine. So first I'm going to add the egg yolks to the venison. Why egg yolks? They're really great for cats with long hair. They help with hair balls. I also have bone marrow from the bones. Here I've got 200 grams of heart and 200 grams of liver. That's too much. I'm just gonna keep half of it to mix it with the venison. And the other half, I'm gonna dehydrate it to make cat treats that I will use in the next month. Of course, all the meat is organic, free range, local. So you just mix it all together. And I'm also gonna add some organic mackerel. These are in oil, so you don't want to add the oil. Unless your cat is constipated, then it can be useful. These are very high in omega-3s, and mackerels don't have a lot of heavy metals in them, so they're a safe fish to feed. You want to avoid tuna, salmon, and all the other fish. But mackerel and sardines are very good to use on a daily basis in a small quantity. My eggshells are dry, so now I'm gonna blitz them into powder. Cats will not eat eggshells, so you really need to powder them really well so that it's not crunchy. And that's actually not enough calcium, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of calcium carbonate. Otherwise, you can also add bones if your cats have no kidney problems. Just measure how much you need for your cat's weight. And then venison is very, very high in iron and low in phosphorus. So today I will not add iron drops. It's not necessary. But if you did blood tests for your cats and your cat is anemic, you might want to add iron drops. Technically, you can just mix the broth. My broth is done to the meat recipe and fridge it for a few days or freeze it. But first I'm going to feed my cats. And they don't have teeth, so they can't have big chunks like this. So I'm gonna blend the meat. I like that it's still warm. You want to serve the food at about 37, 38 degrees, room temperature, but definitely neither cold or warm. And then even though this is wild hunted venison, very high in B12 since it was fed grass, I still want to add multivitamins to make sure my cats aren't deficient in anything. So these are multivitamins with taurine. And you can add some probiotics, very good for gut health. And finally, you can add some fresh wheatgrass on top for a little fiber content. Also helps with the hair balls. And my cats personally love it. So remember to feed your cats a species appropriate diet. Thank you.